Okay, let's start the speedrun. My friend Avery gave me this world, so I'm gonna try beat it as quickly as possible. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's start the speedrun. My friend Avery gave me this world, so I'm gonna try beat it as quickly as possible. Okay, let's go get some stone and... Wait a minute, what the hell is this? I mean, I guess we'll go down, No way, free stuff, let's go. Hey, this speedrun's going so well already, but what's this book? Whatever you do at the crossroads, don't turn left? Okay, well, I guess we're at the crossroads now, so I shouldn't go left. I guess we'll go right. Okay, so I've made some tools now. I guess we'll start digging into here. Whoa, what the hell? Yo, this cave is kind of weird. There's no ores or anything. It's just stone, which is a bit strange. Hey, this run is actually going so well, man. We're gonna get a world record. What the hell is this? This does not spawn naturally at all. Okay, I'll just go down here, I guess. Okay, well, I'll quickly get some food in here, but I don't know what I'm looking at. What is this place? Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go through this tunnel then. Hang on. Something doesn't seem right. I swear there were torches there. What is going on? Hey, man, I'm not scared of a few torches breaking. Okay, maybe I'm a little scared. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna fight back. You're not gonna have this. Alright, I have to go to the nether to get some blaze rods, but I've got a plan on how I can beat this entity. Fortunately, I have a pickaxe. Okay, well, I couldn't find any blaze rods, but I got some glowstone, so take that, entity. Yeah, you better think twice before trying to grief my speedrun. Okay, man, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, I'm out of here, man. Let's continue the speed run. Oh my god! Where the hell am I? Okay, I see a tunnel down here. I guess I'll go through this. Dude, why is this speed run so weird? This is not a normal Minecraft world. I wonder what the hell Avery was doing on this. Oh, come on, dude. Which hole am I supposed to go through? Okay, I guess I'll choose, this one. I don't know. Oh, I don't know where I'm going, but I better be going somewhere. Okay, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm about to drown, so I better get out of here quick. Oh my god. Where am I? Okay, I'm gonna block this off real quick so the entity doesn't follow me. Okay, I've got to set a trap for the entity real quick before I explore. Okay, so I've placed a cake here, and when the entity comes through, it's probably gonna be quite hungry. So it's gonna eat the cake, and we can see that there's been a bite taken out of this. That sounds like an absolute plan. Okay, let's go. Oh, there's a sign here. Okay, it doesn't say anything though, that's a bit annoying. Right, another sign over here. It might be pointing somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna go check my trap now. Wait a minute, when I left, the cake only had 2 bites. But now it has 3. Okay, I've got to get going. Oh, where the hell are these signs pointing to, man? Wait a minute, the C count is at 148 over here. That means there's got to be something underground. Well, don't mind if... Oh my god! Okay, that worked. Who needs signs, man? Just use F3. Okay, come on. I'm on world record pace right now, man. Let me just get through this maze. Oh, god damn it, man. It's a dead end. Fortunately, I have a pickaxe. Hey, let's go. I'm here now. Whoa, we got some gold here. Fortunately, I've got a pickaxe for this as well. Oh, come on, man. Oh, I've got to complete this maze properly then. Come on, man. Wait, let's go. It's the end. Come on. Okay, man, this run is going so well. Wait a minute. Oh, come on, man. You've got to be kidding me. Not a cipher. Okay, unfortunately, I don't speak French, so I don't know how to read that. Actually, hang on. This looks familiar. This cipher seems familiar. It translates to, what do these numbers mean? Hey, wait a minute. Maybe it's a coordinate? Huh? Okay, it should be right about here, and... Is this it? Who is Lord 3? Okay, well that was kind of pointless. Back to the door, I guess. Okay, unfortunately, I don't have a pickaxe, so I guess I'm gonna have to mine it with my hand. Dude, we are really losing some valuable time for the speed run right now. Let me get through. Okay, here we go. Down this tunnel, I guess. Okay, where the hell am I? Okay, I need to figure out how the hell I'm supposed to progress from here, man. Where am I going? Oh, man, these houses have literally nothing in them. What am I supposed to do? This run is gonna be over. Wait a minute. Go, 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 go. World record, come on. Okay, I found this house, which looks slightly different. There's this. What am I supposed to do? Bro, there's gotta be something in here somewhere, man. How do I keep going? Oh, come on. Let me get down, please. Oh my god. Yes, world record's actually gonna happen. Let's go. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, there's a book. Okay, I need to get a world record, man. The law can stay here. Bye-bye. Come on. Okay, barrel, nothing. Where do I go? Yes, world record is mine. If I just go down this tunnel, I think I'm gonna get the world record. Surely it's close. Don't turn left. Also, why would you use F3, bro? I'd do that whole side triangulation thing by myself, bro. I'm sorry, Mr. Lord 3. Dude, you're just jealous that I'm gonna get the world record, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm turning left. I don't care. Let's go, man. I'm gonna get the speedrun world record. This is gonna be great. What the hell is this? I don't remember this being in the stronghold. What is going on? Avery? Bro, Avery, are you okay? I mean, he doesn't look okay. What happened to you, man? Do I want to continue? This does not look safe. Well, I mean, I am trying to get the speedrun world record, so I guess I'm going to continue. Who the hell are you? No, get me out of here, get me out. Oh no, Avery's dead. No, wrong way. No, get out of the way, bro. Oh my god. Bro, the stronghold's here. I'm gonna get the world record. Oh my god, I'm gonna get the world record. No, get out of here, man. Oh my god, Minecraft Manhunt versus the King in Yellow. Oh my god, okay, I feel kind of weird, man. Like, my brain feels really big. But like, oh my god, I've got so much information in my brain. I know where the king's stash is. Okay, according to my brain, it should be around here, maybe? Yes, let's go. Okay, well, I've got this guy's staff now. But what the hell does it do? Oh my god. No way, man, this is sick. But he's not dying. What's going on? Oh, come on, man. I need the dragon to perch. Okay, it's perching. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh my god. I did it. And by the way, don't look at the king. If you do, you will obtain the knowledge of the universe, and you will go insane. Okay, I need to go in the end portal. But why are there 2 end portals? Why is it blocked off? Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go in this one. It's time to beat the world record, guys. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Two worlds recently collided when I was looking for something to watch over lunch, and I stumbled across a video called Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist. If you're a frequent viewer of my channel, you'll know that I love books, and especially classics. But what you might not know is that I also love Minecraft. So I watched this entire 40-minute video absolutely engrossed the entire time, and by the end of it, I had so many questions. And checking the comments led to even more questions. Why was everybody talking about something called the King in Yellow? It wasn't explicitly mentioned in the video or the description, but it seemed to be something that everyone knew about. Everyone except for me. So I did a little bit of digging, and I found out that this Minecraft video was heavily inspired by an 1895 collection of gothic horror short stories called The King in Yellow. And that completely blew my mind. However, when I tried to find something that explained exactly what the King in Yellow was, I did not find anything great. Some people were talking about H.P. Lovecraft, who didn't actually write the original book. Some people were talking about a fictional play that drove you insane. Other people were talking about a fictional king that drove you insane. There were too many people saying too many different things, so I decided I would go straight to the source and read the original book from 1895. And luckily for me, it's so old that it's in the public domain now, so I can read it right here on the internet. First though, let me walk you through the events from Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist that I think are important.
Whatever you do at the crossroads, don't turn left. Whatever you do at the crossroads, don't turn left. At the crossroads, don't. At the crossroads, don't. At the crossroad.
Pretty much, don't turn left at the crossroads. Also, I'm gonna put a spoiler warning here. If you have any interest in watching this video, pause this one and come back when you're done with it, because it is worth the time. Trust me. Otherwise, I'll continue. Okay, the story here is that this guy Avery found a laptop in a storage locker with Minecraft pre-installed. There was a world already created on this Minecraft account, and in it was this mysterious book in an otherwise normal looking mine. But as it turns out, Avery's inventory for a split second is actually a cipher that leads you to a Google Drive folder, and that has the real good stuff. In these videos, you learn about the Minecraft player Durlord, who is the one that actually downloaded Minecraft to this computer, which was originally his. But his story is that when he downloaded Minecraft in the first place, this world was already pre-created. Basically then, you're just following Durlord as he explores this world, finding weirder and weirder stuff until...
I'm not scared of a game.
An impressively suspenseful scene for a Minecraft video. My heart was actually racing the first time I watched this, like no joke, but I am known to be a scaredy cat. From here, it becomes a story about Durlord trying to escape from this mysterious entity that keeps following him. He uses some very clever tactics, but at the end of the day, it seems like he ends up right where the entity wanted to take him. These yellow gates, behind which something terrifying is hiding. He runs away, and you find out that he was the one that wrote the book to warn Avery, and the video ends. Very mysterious, right? Well, there's a lot to read into here, okay? Believe it or not. First, you gotta read into the comments. This is where I found out about the King in Yellow. And I also learned that the assumption at the end is that Durlord either saw the King in Yellow himself or read enough of the play to be driven insane. And in his final moments of clarity, he wrote a warning and stored his computer away in a locker. And the reason, allegedly, that he knew to warn Avery is that the King in Yellow, either the being or the play, gives you some kind of ultimate cosmic knowledge. And that is what drives you insane. That information makes parts of the video make more sense, actually. Why there's so much yellow in this abandoned city, why someone was writing about a king, and why the people of the city were trying to summon him to gain that cosmic knowledge. But what is this city? What is the King in Yellow? Does a king actually exist, or is it just a piece of writing? Is there any significance to all of these trees, or this poem? Why does Durlord's journey go the way it does? Maybe the answer lies in the source material. So let's investigate. Alright team, I've got the King in Yellow up on my computer and a Capri Sun. Try to finish this first story before Survivor comes on at 7. That's the goal. Alright, I'm officially done with the first story, and man is this book outdated. I know it's from 1895, but this guy has some poor takes. I can't really tell if it's a character or if it's just a reflection of the author's beliefs, but the first 2.5 pages are just like racism right in your face. It was written in 1895, but it takes place in the 1920s. It's like a utopian future. It's the perfect world to him because the US government has removed all indigenous people, all African Americans. And I don't know if he's trying to like paint this character that's narrating as a bad person, or if he genuinely is like, this is his belief. So that was really off-putting. I don't know why the story had to start like that. But another great thing the government has done in this world is create these little public chambers where you can go in and die if you want to. It's just another messed up aspect of this book. I think there's a quote that's like, yeah, sometimes the burden of existence is too heavy for some people, and it's honestly better for the rest of us if they just go die. Another terrible take. Like, nobody should die. Everybody is better off if everybody survives, in my opinion. In most people's opinion, I would think. That's all besides the point, though. So you get this extremely racist world building, and then you move on into the story. There's just this guy, he fell off of his horse like 4 years ago, and he bonked his head, And since it was, you know, the late 19th century, they put him in an insane asylum just to make sure. They let him out though, but now he goes through life. He doesn't do any of the stuff he used to do. He doesn't like any of the stuff he used to like. He read The King in Yellow, this play that has been banned all across the world. So here's where the lore comes in, right? He reads the first act, and then he realizes he probably shouldn't read the second act. The entire world knows that reading the second act is a bad thing to do. It's what drives people crazy. So he throws it in the fire, but then he fishes it back out and he reads the second act. From there, it all just kind of spirals. He believes the King in Yellow is real. He believes that Carcosa is real, which is where the play takes place. He's in cahoots with this old man who is this repairer of reputations. He has people come and pay him money so that he can repair their reputations. And the old man has also written this history. The history comes all the way from ancient Carcosa with the King in Yellow himself. There's like a lineage, a royal family here. It comes all the way down to modern day to our main character. His name is Hildred. Hildred is actually not the heir to the throne. It's his cousin, according to this history that this crazy old man wrote. So Hildred now believes that he needs to kill his cousin in order to regain the throne. Spoiler alert again, if you want to read this book, go read it. But what happens at the end of this story is that Hildred tries to kill his cousin, so he's like, it's too late for you. Just let me kill you or you go into exile. I already killed my doctor that called me insane, and now it's your turn. And so our main character is taken into custody, goes back to the insane asylum, and then dies. What did I learn about the King in Yellow from this? From what I can figure, Carcosa might be this village from the Minecraft video, and the King in Yellow was the ruler. So when Hildred was motivated to read this story, that was like in the Minecraft video when the main character was motivated to keep exploring. That makes sense, you know, like the thing that he saw behind those gates was probably just like the gist of Act 2. The crazy old man, while he is a crazy old man, because he read The King in Yellow, he knew a lot of stuff that he would not have been able to know otherwise. So that really solidifies the theory that reading Act 2 of The King in Yellow gives you like infinite knowledge, but it also drives you crazy. There you go, that's what we've learned. Carcosa is the kingdom. Hastur is the King in Yellow. There are some lakes in Carcosa. There are 2 suns. There are black stars. It's a freaky place. Okay, time for story 2.
I've
Two
got
worlds
my
recently
mood
collided
lighting
when I
on.
was looking for
I've
something to
got
watch
a
over
bowl of
lunch, and I
cereal.
stumbled
And I've got to read these last chores.
across a video called "Should Die." Everybody is better off if everybody survives. And here's where the lore comes in, right? He reads the first act, and then he
He realizes he probably shouldn't read the second act. The entire world knows that reading the second act is a bad thing to do. It's what drives people crazy. So he throws it in the fire, but then he fishes it back out and he reads the second act. From there, it all just kind of spirals. He believes the King in Yellow is real. He believes that Carcosa is real, which is where the play takes place. He's in cahoots with this old man who is this repairer of reputations. He has people come and pay him money so that he can repair their reputations. And the old man has also written this history. The history comes all the way from ancient Carcosa with the King in Yellow himself. There's like a lineage, a royal family here. It comes all the way down to modern day to our main character. His name is Hildred. Hildred is actually not the heir to the throne. It's his cousin, according to this history that this crazy old man wrote. So Hildred now believes that he needs to kill his cousin in order to regain the throne. Spoiler alert again, if you want to read this book, go read it. But what happens at the end of this story is that Hildred tries to kill his cousin, so he's like, it's too late for you. Just let me kill you or you go into exile. I already killed my doctor that called me insane, and now it's your turn. And so our main character is taken into custody, goes back to the insane asylum, and then dies. What did I learn about the King in Yellow from this? From what I can figure, Carcosa might be this village from the Minecraft video, and the King in Yellow was the ruler. So when Hildred was motivated to read this story, that was like in the Minecraft video when the main character was motivated to keep exploring. That makes sense, you know, like the thing that he saw behind those gates was probably just like the gist of Act 2. The crazy old man, while he is a crazy old man, because he read The King in Yellow, he knew a lot of stuff that he would not have been able to know otherwise. So that really solidifies the theory that reading Act 2 of The King in Yellow gives you like infinite knowledge, but it also drives you crazy. There you go, that's what we've learned. Carcosa is the kingdom. Hastur is the King in Yellow. There are some lakes in Carcosa, there are 2 suns, there are black stars. It's a freaky place. Okay, time for story 2.
I've got my mood lighting on, I've got a bowl of cereal,
And I've got to read these last short stories. Let's go. Okay, that one wasn't even about the Yellow King at all. There's kind of a one-off thing where the main character just reads the Yellow King, just a couple scenes from the first act, and then it's not mentioned again. I think it makes him sick for a couple weeks, but that's it. Like, he just comes down with something. The story's just about kind of a love triangle between 2 artists, and then one of them is married, but these 2 are also in love. He discovers this substance, this liquid, that if you put something in it, it just turns into a beautiful statue. Maybe the assumption is that his wife read The King in Yellow and was driven insane, so she jumps into a vat of this stuff, turns into a statue, and there's a whole Romeo and Juliet situation where her husband, he kills himself because he's lost the love of his life, and then he leaves everything to the other artist, and he realizes, oh my gosh, the statue thing is only temporary, it just hibernates you. And then he goes and he finds the guy's wife. She's alive, she's okay, and that's where the story ends. Definitely nothing to do with that Minecraft video. This next one's called The Yellow Sign. Hopefully we learn a little bit more from that, so let's get it going. Third story, done. This one kind of wrapped it up nicely. It was just about an artist and then the nude model that he works with all the time. The artist keeps seeing this guy, this weird, freaky, pale, gross-looking guy. The model starts seeing him too. Some kid talks to the artist and he was like, yeah, that guy freaked me out, so I tried to beat him up, but when I did, his finger came off in my hand, and he was so squishy and gross. Later, the guy is like murmuring to himself or to the artist. He says, have you found the yellow sign? Like over and over again. The model gives the artist this black ring, and it's got this yellow symbol on it. The play, The King in Yellow, appears in his house, and the model reads it, and she goes all quiet and scared. Then he realizes it was the yellow sign all along, and that creepy guy comes in, kills them both, but they find the model dead, and then the creepy guy, they find his body too, and then they're like, wow, this guy's been dead for months. How did this crime scene even occur? So that's freaky. It's like The King in Yellow sends different little soldiers into the world to get people to read the play and get driven insane. That really goes into searching for a world that doesn't exist. and I'll tell you why. It's the next morning. I finished those 3 stories, but apparently there's a 4th short story in this book about the King in Yellow. There are 9 short stories and also like a little collection of poems in this book, but there are only 4 short stories that are actually about the King in Yellow. But in my version that I found online, only 3 of those stories were there, which is kind of like scary. So I'm a little scared that this 4th short story might have been removed because it drives people insane. I did find a version online and that does have the 4th story, so I am gonna read it because I think this story is actually the most important story. So I'm gonna risk my sanity for you guys, and I'll let you know what I learned from this. Wish me luck. If I go crazy, that's on you. Let's read. Okay, that one was pretty good. It was only like 17 pages, but pretty much this guy has been reading The King in Yellow, and so he's been feeling a little sad. Then he goes to church, and then he starts to notice that the organ is sounding a little more evil today. Turns out he's getting death glares from the organ player. He decides to leave in the middle of the service. He's getting followed by this organ player. He gets cornered. The organ player's about to get him, and then he wakes up. He fell asleep during the sermon. The entire world just melts away, and he wakes up in Carcosa. Let me just see what it says. And now, far away, over leagues of tossing cloud waves, I saw the moon dripping with spray, and beyond the towers of a Carcosa rose behind the moon. Death and the awful abode of lost souls, whither my weakness long ago had sent him, had changed him for every other eye but mine. And now I heard his voice, rising, swelling, thundering through the flaring light. And as I fell, the radiance increasing, poured over me in waves of flame. Then I sank into the depths, and I heard the King in Yellow whispering to my soul, "It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God." And that's how it ends. I think this answered all of my questions. Here's where the Minecraft video is very interesting. It's mentioned specifically in the video that at any point Durlord can just get off the game. He can turn it off. It's just a game. All of these people in this book can put the book down at any moment. Stop reading the play. They don't have to read Act 2. If you're criticizing this for being stupid because it takes place in Minecraft, you're missing the point. Instead of a play, The King in Yellow has adapted to a more modern medium for getting people into his realm, and that of course is Minecraft. Now, I'm not sure there's like a yellow sign anywhere in this video. I don't see anything obvious. Maybe just the entire world, you know, it makes him want to go farther until he stumbles upon the infinite knowledge, and we can only assume that he ended up in Carcosa with the King in Yellow. So honestly, searching for a world that doesn't exist is just another addition to the rapidly expanding world of the King in Yellow. I gotta do a little bit more research on where else the King in Yellow shows up, but I think it's like a lot of places I've stumbled across, so I'm gonna gather my thoughts and I'll get back to you.
Okay, here we are with all of the questions answered. The biggest one being, what is the King in Yellow? Well, in short, the King in Yellow is an idea. This concept has been referenced in so many things. Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist, the first season of True Detective, a Stephen King novel, a couple of different H.P. Lovecraft pieces, and then Carcosa itself actually came from an entirely different short story from 1886 by a completely different author called An Inhabitant of Carcosa. I guess copyright didn't really exist back then the way it does today, or maybe they were just all friends in this weird little gothic horror cosmic horror circle. So the King in Yellow is this godlike entity that rules over the land of Carcosa, which is this eerie, haunting, desolate, possibly post-apocalyptic place where lost souls eventually end up. The King in Yellow has this infinite knowledge, and he just wants to share it with all of these lost souls. It's gonna make them lose their minds, but maybe that gives them some sort of power. Who knows? Anyway, the King in Yellow marks these lost souls with the yellow sign, and then he does something to lure them in to finding the infinite knowledge. For the characters in the book, that infinite knowledge comes from the play The King in Yellow, and the insanity / infinite knowledge seems to set in pretty slowly, with none of the characters going insane right away, and also none of them like realizing every truth about the universe right away. Instead, the world just kind of slowly crumbles around them, and things start to look off until they realize that their fate is to end up in Carcosa with the King in Yellow. But for Durlord, in searching for a world that doesn't exist, instead of a play, the King in Yellow gets him through the medium of Minecraft. He realizes his fate and he tries to save the next person, Avery, from the same fate. And then this abandoned village that he found must have belonged to a group of people that had wanted to summon the king in order to get the infinite knowledge, but they were swept away to Carcosa in the process. And that's pretty similar to True Detective and how there was a cult of people devoted to the King in Yellow trying to get that infinite knowledge. So there you go, the King in Yellow is not named in Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist, but the bits and pieces you can gather from this book and also all the other media that it appears in tells you a lot about Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist, and it ties it all together super nicely. Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist is a great watch on its own, but now knowing the context of the unseen antagonist is also just super cool. And honestly, say what you will about it just being a Minecraft video, but I think that this was a great addition to the public domain King in Yellow lore. I really like that there's just this character that you can use in your art for free, and I love that they made a Minecraft video about it without even mentioning it, but everybody caught on to what it was. Well, that was a fun break from studying for finals, but if you want to see me reading some more old books, you can check out this video where I read 2 classics in one sitting. Otherwise, if you want to see me try to read more horror, you can check out this video. I can't promise that it goes super well, but like and comment and subscribe and all the good stuff. Okay, bye.
I was doing some digging when I stumbled upon a website for an old Minecraft mod, minecraftcompanion.jar. I tried installing it, but my game just crashed. Something about it doesn't feel right though. Maybe you could look into it further.
On June 24th, 2024, a YouTube channel was created, claiming they had found an old laptop with some weird Minecraft videos about a strange mod. The footage of these videos begins as pretty normal, but quickly becomes one of the most extremely disturbing mysteries on YouTube, and the only way to understand and solve it is to watch the first video. The video starts with a notepad open and what looks like an old version of Minecraft in the background. It's worth noting that we can hear the sounds of a keyboard, meaning that whoever's recording this video is choosing not to speak to us. Our protagonist introduces himself as Extreme Gamer 11, and after setting the insane like goal of 3, proceeds to play out a relatively normal Minecraft Let's Play. But the Let's Play isn't normal for very long. A minute in, and all of a sudden, this happens. A pink message of gibberish shows up in the chat and fades without Extreme Gamer ever really acknowledging it. He continues playing in the world, collecting the basic starting resources, asking us where to build his house, and a bit later runs across some dropped flowers that seemingly came out of nowhere. An odd random cut later, he comes across an area of already mined trees with pieces of meat on the ground. He looks around confused, and we can assume that this wasn't him. Something here is very wrong. This isn't what a normal Minecraft world should look like. He comes across more dropped flowers and then encounters this, a ring of yellow and red flowers, and then more dropped meat. When he next opens his notepad, we can see that he was questioning this flower generation. It definitely wasn't him doing this. Extreme Gamer begins to dig out a little house for himself, and as he's leaving to get sand for windows, he sees this. Over the hill, staring right at him, is a dark player, and the video ends. This is genuinely frightening, but a lot of it is not as strange as you may think. First of all, if we look in the description, we can see a message from the creator.
The footage from this one was a little corrupted, so I tried my best to stitch it together. Nate.
This explains the weird cuts that were showing up throughout the video, and now we have a name for whoever runs this channel.
Nate.
But let's revisit the first mystery in this video, the weird gibberish in the chat box. This message wasn't sent by a player. It's a message seemingly from the game itself, and while the letters seem random, they're actually a hidden code. If you place all these letters and characters on a keyboard and shift everything up, so Z becomes A, D becomes E, and Y becomes 6, this string of gibberish translates to access code retrieved, archive. Why the I in archive is capitalized, what the meaning of this cryptic phrase is at all, and why there are 2 random character pairings hidden in the subtitles of this video is honestly beyond me. But none of this answers the looming question question of who is in this world? Who is messing with the flowers, the trees, and the animals? Well, right before Extreme Gamer pulls up his notepad to talk to us more, there were a few frames where we could see that his world is open to LAN. This explains how another player managed to join him, but who is this person? And why does Extreme Gamer look so surprised when he finds all the cut trees and killed animals if his world is open to LAN? I mean, typically if you open a world to LAN, it's safe to assume that you meant to
do that, and we're expecting someone to join you, so why is he so surprised? Well, I'll tell you why. Land
I know all too well that some of the internet's darker stories can go unheard. This is a collection of videos that might have disappeared from your feed, but deserve one more night in the spotlight. So sit back, relax, and feel free to skip around to any of these timestamps, because this is 1 hour of internet oddities.
You should always judge pizza by the sauce, the dough, and the cheese, not by the top.
If you, yes you, received illicit substances from a seller online, and you didn't know what exactly it was, would you take it? Most people would say no. Doing so seems like an invitation for the worst possible scenario. That is, dying from an overdose. But with everything, there are exceptions. Such is the story of our first Redditor. I need help finding this older Reddit/4chan post where a guy wins a drug from a contest. When the drug gets there, he doesn't think it's the right one, so he just starts dipping in his fingers and eating it. He never posted again after that. I don't know what channel I saw it on, but this was probably the mid-2010s when I heard about it. It was definitely in some YouTube video I watched. It could have been in an older Nexpo or Scare Theater video, or one of those early internet crime YouTubers. I think OP might have described the powder as brown, but I don't know. In the thread, a lot of people were telling him to stop, and that it wasn't a good idea to eat it, but he was being very dismissive about how dangerous this was. As for the contest part, I'm almost 100% certain he received it in the mail. I think it was probably off the dark web, so the post was probably on a dark web board or drug-related sub. It might be fake, but I remember it freaking me out at the time. If anyone has a link, that would be amazing. Users quickly began offering up stories they believed OP was referring to, and while some of them don't exactly fit the bill, it's possible that OP misremembered a few parts of their story, considering it happened so long ago. Are you possibly misremembering the story about Bromo Dragonfly and Hop Darcy? This is 2CB Fly, a mildly psychedelic designer drug, more gentle than the likes of LSD, but still powerful. On October 9th, 2003, a man named Brian Sullivan received 2CB Fly that he had ordered from the Danish research chemical retailer Hop Darcy. Brian, his brother John, and John's girlfriend Lindsay all took different doses of 2CB Fly, 9 milligrams, 10 milligrams, and 4 milligrams respectively. What they didn't know is that they had not received 2CB, but a substance 10 times more powerful named Bromo Dragonfly. What follows is a written report of the incident from Lindsay's perspective. I knew something was wrong when I started to feel the intensity. John would never have given me a starting dose that was that strong. I was expecting it to recede, but it kept getting more intense, and that's when reality went away completely. I was in my room, walking back and forth from the bed to the bathroom. John would check on me, but I couldn't handle human contact. and he said Brian was having a rough time, so I sent him away. Light was way too intense for me, and so was closing my eyes. I just wanted it to be over. I almost asked to be taken to the hospital, but I figured that it was just going to pass. It didn't. I soon went over the edge and found myself at the point where I was crawling on the floor in every direction. Next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital, completely wired up to health monitoring machines and a catheter. I was still having some visuals, but very minor. I could tell they had given me some sort of sedative because I felt foggy. I kept falling asleep and waking up. In one of my waking moments, a nurse had told me that John was being difficult, but she didn't mention Brian. Then I overheard the nurses and a police officer talking. It was about 3 people. One of them had died. I was hoping it was not about me, John, and Brian. It was only hours later that I found out that it was. Brian began having health complications 2 hours after ingesting the proposed 2CB. 3.5 hours after ingestion, Brian began experiencing seizures, strokes, or possibly a heart attack, and died 30 minutes later. 6 days prior, halfway across the globe, the owner of Hopped RC, whom Brian had ordered his psychedelics from, also dies from ingesting 18 milligrams of his own 2CB. His friend described the trip, saying, "It was like being dragged to hell and back, many times. It was the most evil thing I had ever tried. It lasted an eternity." As I mentioned earlier, this substance was, in actuality, mislabeled bromo dragonfly, 10 times more potent than 2CB fly. Because of this, the dosages used for 2CB don't work the same for bromo dragonfly. While some may consume 10 to 20 milligrams of 2CB, others will only consume less than a milligram of bromo dragonfly. While this story doesn't exactly line up with OP's memory, it's worth noting since it contains a few similarities. Users also suspected that OP could have misremembered the U/flip and flop case, since it's something that Nexpo has covered before. Finally got my hands on some Datura. How much should I take? For those of you who don't know, Datura is a highly poisonous flower whose seeds act as a deliriant, causing strong hallucinations amongst many other side effects, possibly lasting for days. I have around 60 seeds, some dried flowers and leaves. How much should I take for a nice first-time trip? I was thinking of crushing up X seeds and making tea with them, drink the tea and smoke a couple of leaves while the tea is starting to take effect. Would 15 seeds be enough? Sources on the internet tell me a regular dose is around 10 to 20, but I've seen some talk about 30 plus. Commenters were quick to tell Flip and Flop not to take any, but he did so anyways. Slowly drank the tea in half an hour. Didn't taste too bad. Not feeling much yet. I'll check back with you guys in an hour or so. But Flip and Flop didn't post an update. The next thing he posted was a reply to his own post. Google.com, how normal again, stop now. He then ventured to r/gaming and commented on a post about totally accurate battle simulator. Please, these big dog are fighting, not okay. After that, the account went silent and hasn't updated in over 8 years. Again, this story isn't exactly as OP described it, but it's worth mentioning. This is a post I've checked out a few times since it's been posted. If you have any knowledge of the post or YouTube video that OP is referring to, please feel free to leave a comment. Terrifying film found at a thrift store. Found this film photo at my thrift store inside an old Kodak carousel box. The image attached to the post is something I probably can't show on YouTube. Half of the picture is taken up by a bed, while the other half contains a naked body lying in a pool of blood between the bed and the wall. The photo is dark, so all you can make out is the victim's torso, the right arm laying over their chest, and the right leg which is crossed over them, like they're trying to lay on their side, but their back is still pressed against the floor. This is a definite call the cops situation. Feels like a serial killer trophy. What in the This looks too ugly to be staged. I'm going to need you to go to the cops with this one and update us later. Bring the whole carousel. Users unanimously agreed that OP should reach out to the police, as his photo was most likely real. According to OP, he grabbed the photo and went outside to call the non-emergency line. After an officer arrived, OP showed them the photo and led them inside the thrift shop to where the carousel was. It's worth noting that the film, 35mm, didn't fit inside the carousel and was simply left in the middle of the box. When I felt the film, it didn't feel old or new. It's hard to describe, but it didn't feel like it would break if I bent it. I didn't smell it, but yes, it was sticky, as in it would stay on my index finger after pressing on it. One of the last significant updates from OP contains a backlit photo of the film. There is some sort of black sack, some sort of trash bag or pillowcase in the corner of the room, but it's difficult to tell if the person's head is inside that sack or if their head is craned back against the bed. After that, OP stopped posting and has been silent since December of last year.
Also, when ordering pizza, especially for delivery or pickup, it is not a bad idea to order it well done, as most places have a tendency to undercook.
I received what seems like a coded message from a blocked caller on my voicemail. Yesterday I received a message sent to my voicemail from a blocked number. I do not talk to any old men or have any in my family. Any ideas on what this means? I recently changed my phone number, but this is weird, because where I bartend, we sell pizzas. Do I listen to too much true crime, or is this weird?
You should always judge pizza by the sauce, the dough, and the cheese, not by the toppings on it. Also, when ordering pizza, especially for delivery or pickup, it is not a bad idea to order it well done, as most places have a tendency to undercook it, especially when they're busy, like on Friday night. Now that is, of course, unless you like it lightly cooked. Now, I have no interest at all in watching the Kardashians, and I never have, nor will I ever wear a backpack. And I hope this is clear to you.
The voicemail is certainly weird. OP repeatedly states that this couldn't be anyone they know. Not a coworker, not their boss, and definitely not a family member. The part that scared them is the potential connection to their work as a bartender. However, users were quick to assure OP that this message was not meant for them. I think this guy might have dementia. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Next question. To be fair, dementia can out itself in weird ways. I'm getting vibes from this. This is the comment that stuck with me the most. For a long time online, I've been referred to using terms such as cheese pizza. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things here that stand out. I'm taking a guess here, but pizza equals or prostitute or some sort of sex. I think prostitute is most likely. Toppings equals body altercations or tattoos. This person wants someone that's plain. Well done means skin color. Pickup or delivery is equal to pickup or deliver said person. Kardashians means women. This person wants a man. As far as I know, nothing strange occurred to OP after this voicemail, but it's weird to imagine what this guy was even talking about, whether he had sinister intent or some sort of mental illness. If you've ever lived in an apartment, you might be able to hear the sounds of the residents above or below you. When I'm in my living room, I can hear those below me. When I'm in my bedroom, I can hear my upstairs neighbor shuffling around. Most people would say it's a coincidence that we're in the same place at the same time. But what if it wasn't? I can't even begin to describe how unbelievable and frightening this situation is. It started shortly after I moved into my apartment on September 1st, 2020. My therapist picked up on the fact I seemed uneasy and asked if I felt safe. At the time, I hadn't tuned in my surroundings much, but realized she was right, and I hadn't been relaxing. I soon learned why. Inexplicably, my upstairs neighbor would follow me from room to room and hover over me. If I'm in my bedroom, she will already be in the room above it. If I get up to go to my kitchen, she will tail me behind seconds after. If I go back to my room, she will do the same thing, sometimes stomping. She's literally my shadow. For the first few months, she did this nearly every single time I got up to do something, even during more intimate moments, like taking a shower or using the bathroom. It sounds crazy, but for the longest time I've suspected that there might be hidden cameras in my apartment. There have been too many things I've done that she's reacted to that wouldn't be possible without seeing me. Here's why I think there's more to this. She never, ever leaves her apartment. Until May, never appeared to have any visitors. Those visitors were some of the tenants on my floor. They moved out last weekish. When I complained to the landlord in October, he told me maintenance was never able to get into her unit. He also said 2 people lived there and that one was unemployed. Said that he would talk to her in person. Landlord then went MIA and hired property management. Her roommate secretly moved out last year. All the tenants on her floor moved out by June, despite all leases for units expiring in September. One of the tenants on her floor had a roommate who appeared to move out during the middle of the year. Someone left a bottle of bleach square on my doormat, possibly having racist connotations. I expect she might have done it. I cannot hear the tenants below me, and I could barely hear those next to me before they moved out. This has caused me a significant amount of fear and exacerbated my medical issues. I've lost months of work and have spent nearly a quarter of my lease living with friends. I live very much in fear this person could harm me, as they're fixated on me 24/7 and never ever leave their apartment. OP also mentions that they have been tested for psychological issues and attaches a 10-minute video of proof that this is all real. In the updates following the original post, OP invites a friend over to scour their apartment for cameras or any other unwelcome device. However, they found nothing, and OP eventually disappeared from the face of the internet. So we're left wondering, what's the deal with the person in the upstairs apartment? Losing a friend or a loved one is difficult. I've read numerous accounts of those going through hard times turning to denial, in the hopes that maybe it was all in your head, and that you'll wake up the next day and be reunited with the person you lost. Such is the story of one user on RBI. However, they have reason to believe that their friend might still be alive. Almost 2 years ago, I realized that my friend, who passed away, has been reading my Snapchat messages since his death. I also realized today that there's absolutely no information online about his death. I'd like to preface this by saying that this is obviously a really sensitive subject for me. I also more recently had a partner tragically die, and ever since then, I keep just wishing one day that I will wake up and it'll be a falsity, or that I get the news that he faked his death. That might sound weird, but I have a hard time with grief. Anyways, in April 2020, my close friend passed away. He was a very private person, an outcast. He was quiet, and I never even learned his last name. But he was a great person nonetheless, and we shared a lot of amazing moments together. The story, as far as I know, is that he borrowed his brother's car to go to the store without telling him. His brother didn't take that well, and shot and killed my friend upon his arrival back home. I know his family had a pattern of abusing him severely, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me that his brother would do such an awful thing. Since his death, I've messaged him on Snapchat to tell him I hope he knew he was loved. Tell him about my life now. Tell him about how I was really sorry for what happened. The messages always stayed on deliver until recently. This last May, they were opened. I just noticed that today. I was in shock. I thought that maybe someone had gotten a hold of his phone, but his family treated him so poorly and really didn't seem to care much for him, so it seems weird that they'd have known his login information. His Snap score has also gone up since his death. This inspired me to spend hours and hours searching online today for obituaries, news stories, anything I could find online about brother murdering brother during that time, but I couldn't find a single thing. We only have one mutual friend, and he doesn't have any suspicion about anything. I think he may take offense if I bring it up. Honestly, he is probably gone, and I don't want to drag anyone else into this because they'll never forgive me for planting this seed in their head, as I have done to myself. In the comments, OP goes on to explain how they were only informed of their friend's death through that mutual friend, and that they never once heard about a funeral being held. A few commenters found it strange that OP never knew his friend's last name, that he was possibly catfished by someone pretending to be someone else, who then simply stopped all contact with OP and faked their death as an excuse. In a later update, OP reached out to their mutual friend to explain the Snapchat messages opening. However, upon hearing this, their friend said that he had bad service and hung up immediately, never calling back. OP's advised to do a quick search of their friend's Snapchat username, but says that all accounts related to the username have been deleted or banned. In OP's final edit, he says he found his friend's last name, used that to find his address, and was led to a news report detailing the incident.
And we first learned about this shooting right around 2 o'clock this morning. If I pop out of the way, you can see that they still have a blocked portion of Agave Road taped off here. Photographer Mark...
OP's friend is really dead. But I'm still hung up on the Snapchat account and the mutual friend's strange behavior. Snap score increases when someone sends or receives snaps, and it's clear that someone was using OP's dead friend's account. But who? Weird guy shows up at my parents' house at 1 a.m. looking for me, and using details of my life that were valid 20 years ago. In late 2022, a Redditor took to RBI after their parents had a strange encounter 3 nights prior. The post is exactly as the title describes it. OP was currently settling into a new apartment when their parents from 20 minutes away called to inform them of what's just happened. 3 nights ago, my parents called me at 2 a.m., freaked out, and proceeded to tell me this story. Apparently at 1 a.m., someone starts banging on their front door and repeatedly ringing the doorbell. My stepdad walks downstairs and opens the door. There was a man standing outside who looked to be in his 30s, with a black hoodie with the hood pulled around his face. The man says, "I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for OP's full name." My stepdad plays dumb and says, "Who?" The man proceeds to state my full name again and says that my boyfriend is worried because I didn't come home that night. He claims to be a friend of my boyfriend and tells my stepdad that they are both out looking for me. But I don't have a boyfriend. I live by myself and haven't been in a relationship for 6 months. My stepdad asked the guy what boyfriend he was talking about, and the man told him the name of my boyfriend I had when I was in 10th grade, nearly 20 years ago. At this point, my stepdad is weirded out and locks the door in his face. The man doesn't leave. He lingers in front of my parents' house for the next 10 minutes, smoking cigarettes and talking on the phone. Finally, my parents call the cops. About 5 minutes before the cops arrive, the man walks down to the dead end on their block and drives away in a silver car. Following this incident, OP reached out to their 10th grade boyfriend to explain the situation. However, he claims he has no part in it, and that he currently has a girlfriend and doesn't know who the hooded man is. OP admits that it's been a long time since they spoke, and her ex could simply be lying. Commenters offered up a few theories for what they thought happened. If OP's parents had lived in the same house all this time, then it could have been one of OP's classmates from 10th grade who happened to know where she used to live. When I was a teen, I briefly got mixed up with the wrong crowd. If my parents told me this story, I would immediately assume that someone I knew in high school was casing houses in the neighborhood, or even purposefully targeting my parents' house because they already knew the layout, and rung the doorbell to see if anyone was home, and they just made up a lie because they were caught. Other theories include the man being under the influence or mentally ill, though that doesn't exactly explain why or how he knows so much about OP's past. My stepdad was super confident that he was not high or drunk. He spoke clearly and calmly. OP mentions that the police were called, yet all they did was drive up and down the block a few times before calling it a day. And that's where interest ended. Users stopped commenting, and OP stopped replying for over a year. To many users' surprise, OP returned to r/RBI with the most unexpected update. My stepsister and her fiance were at a house party right after the holidays. While they were there, they started talking to a girl that neither of them knew. After some time talking together, the girl started talking about her ex-boyfriend and how they were going through a really tough time together. They had just recently broken up and she felt really bad because he was a wreck over it. Somehow it came up that this girl's ex-boyfriend was my 10th grade boyfriend. The whole situation wasn't that big of a coincidence, since I went to high school with my stepsister's fiance and we have a lot of mutual friends, so it makes sense that they were at a party that would include some people I went to high school with. As soon as my stepsister and her fiance hear this, they both start freaking out, and without revealing too many details, they tell the girl about the whole mystery and how weird it is. As they're telling the story, the girl's face starts to go white, and she looks like she's about to cry. My stepsister and fiance try to console her and ask what's wrong. The girl starts to tell them that a few nights ago, she was sleeping and someone started banging on her door at 1 a.m. The girl jumps out of bed and says she thought someone was going to break in. She has a Ring camera, so she looks at her phone. There on the camera is a guy in a black hoodie, banging on her door. She pretends like she isn't home and keeps all of the lights off. He continues banging. As she's getting ready to dial 911, the guy stops and leaves. She said she was absolutely terrified. For whatever reason, she didn't end up calling the cops, but may have gone to stay with a friend that night or the night after. My stepsister and fiance are shocked by the details and how similar it is to my story, especially because of the mutual ex-boyfriend we share. Except this girl literally just broke things off with him. They asked the girl if she has any idea who this guy is, and she said no, but that is definitely not the ex-boyfriend. She said the guy was much taller and heavier than our shared mutual ex. This mystery is still unsolved, and these new details honestly just make my head spin even more. No one else has shown up to my parents' door since the actual incident a year ago. There are a few ways we can interpret this. Since the original post, users have suggested that the ex-boyfriend is cynical, the type to try and seek revenge against his exes by sending someone out to harass them. OP states that their boyfriend was into drugs and is possibly still an addict, that their boyfriend knew where they lived, and that they had a horrific breakup that led to severe bullying. OP seems on board with the idea that their ex is trying to seek revenge, and says they will try to get in contact with the girl from the party. However, they go silent on the matter after this final comment. Looking through the rest of OP's posting and commenting history, they frequent subreddits such as r/meth, r/psychosis, r/opiate recovery, and more, leading some to believe that this whole thing was just a bad trip experienced by OP. But believe what you want to believe. The idea that we are born to die isn't exactly wrong. By having a child, you are technically sentencing it to death in 80 or 90 odd years. Although I feel that this idea undermines all the possibilities in life, there are some people that dedicate their entire life to this belief. Over the past few years, I've heard multiple mentions online of a children's immortality project. Despite giving it some research in the past, I couldn't exactly grasp the whole situation, and I doubt that anyone, aside from the man who created it, fully comprehends what was going on. This story takes us all the way back to 2009, specifically to a thread on 4chan's board for discussing the paranormal, X. Unfortunately, the original thread was lost to time, and to my knowledge, wasn't archived anywhere. What we do have is a thread from early 2010 discussing the incident, which will serve as our introduction into this topic.
So, I really hate to bring this up, but it happened last year, around this time, right here on our little X. Whether it was the real deal or fake, it scared the shit out of a good few of us. Anyone remember the Children's Immortality Project ordeal? I still get those bizarre ass, unexplainable emails to my Gmail account, which I don't really use anymore after that incident. And for the love of God, don't Google that name or click those links. You have been warned. To try and sum it up the best way I can, there were links all over X concerning the Children's Immortality Project. Like idiots, we clicked them, followed them, etc. The websites themselves contained pure nonsensical shit with weird-ass space age / techno 80s music and massive walls of text that would have you scrolling for 10 minutes at least. Apparently, there were keywords and links you were supposed to pick up on if you planned on being a member, and if you were on the sites for more than 2 minutes tops, your email would be tracked, and you would get these weird-ass emails to your Gmail account. To clear it up some more, the writing on the sites are very hard to make sense of, but they usually have something to do with the words immortality, children, DNA, etc. It's like reading the diary of a paranoid schizophrenic. The writing style is incomprehensible, yet it gives you the gut feeling that it somehow makes sense.
I was there when it happened. Supposedly the site is some sort of hideout. By following the trail of the links scattered all over the page, you could get to the point where you would see. This is just a rumour though. The pages themselves are very weird, full of nonsensical pictures with writing on them. You won't get harmed if you aren't logged into Google, but if you are, say goodbye to your account. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Unfortunately, searching up Children's Immortality Project only brings up other people speaking on the subject, and not the actual web pages in question, probably because search results have changed over the last 15 years. This means we'll have to rely on the URLs that other people have found to access this mystery. Let's just choose a site and see what happens. Everything you just witnessed came from a single website, and it seems like there are over 1,000 of these. All were being updated on a monthly basis, and linking back to whatever the Children's Immortality Project is. Each site contains hundreds of links to other websites, which link on and on and on, like a giant web of URLs that connect back to each other. Some of them have quite normal names, such as universityoftheinternet.com or takingoverinternetsearch.com, while others are a bit more obscure, like titaniumrings.server or google.com.continues to fuck with children's immortality, delaying it how to tell children they have been created to be killed.com. Who the fuck would register a domain like this? Makes no sense. Let's take a step back for a moment. If we want to understand what's going on here, then we actually have to extract some information from these websites. I found that a few of these websites are more coherent than others, namely a few I just mentioned, along with Jesus is taking over the internet to create your immortality.com, which looks like this. If you remember what I said at the beginning of the video, some people believe that we are born to die. By having a child, you are creating something that will one day die. That is the purpose of these websites. Every single page was created to spread the idea that having children is cruel because they will eventually age and die. The way this is stated differs from page to page, but the general idea is this. Throughout time, humanity has obeyed laws preventing humans from killing other humans, such as "thou shalt not kill." However, bringing a child into this world is the same as passively killing it via the aging process, violating our own set of laws and beliefs. Before we continue to explore why these websites were created, I'd like to discuss how they came to be. The earliest archive I can find of one of these websites dates back to 2003, though some of them could be even older. The creator of these websites isn't exactly hiding from us. In fact, he plasters his name and likeness all over each one, calling himself the digital messiah, as he believes his ideas will save humanity from our cycle of murder. This is Robert Ray Hedges, the man who has single-handedly created all of these websites and maintained them for over a decade. And that's about all I know. We do know that he lived in Sedona, a town just south of Flagstaff, Arizona. But other than that, it seems Robert has kept his personal life a bit secret. I mean, he has social media like Facebook and Flickr, but he only uses it to promote his websites and to post. So what exactly is Robert trying to accomplish? Maybe I haven't emphasized this enough, but Robert has an insane amount of websites. Creating and updating each individual one is going to take more than just countless days worth of work. It's also going to take a bit of money. There aren't any advertisements on these websites, so it seems Robert is doing this purely for himself. No financial gain involved. Again, I'll ask myself, why? Why is a stranger online dedicating his entire life to tell us not to have children? I've spent hours trying to understand Robert's ideas, and I think I've got a pretty good grasp on what he was trying to accomplish. As we've already discussed, Robert sees giving birth to children as equal to murdering them. Does this mean that Robert would rather see humanity go extinct than sentence children to death? I guess if you're never born, then you'll never die, meaning you're immortal in some sense, hence the name Children's Immortality Project. In order to spread this concept of immortality, Robert began creating these websites in the hope that people would come across them online and agree with its teachings. You may have noticed that most of Robert's websites contain a large chunk of keywords and discuss Google's SEO, search engine optimization. According to Robert, there was some secret way to manipulate Google's search engine to make your websites appear at the top of search results, and that you could research this method by looking up Gloves, or the word Google and loves mashed together. Presumably the secret method is what Robert was using on all of his websites, which is why they contain so many links and so much gibberish. I believe that Robert's websites were created for a younger audience, people that he can convince to follow his ideology who don't already have children. Here's an excerpt from one of his most popular websites. 9 Steps to Power for All Kids. Children are increasingly taking responsible control of their parents, schools, and real education using the following steps. Please follow the logic carefully. You are now participating in the most important event of the evolution of consciousness. Step 1. Confirm that all DNA life forms have died or can die. Step 2. Confirm that human replication leads to death based on archaeological evidence. Step 4. Confirm that reproduction does kill children in the long run, and that it is a premeditated act, as no one has sex accidentally. Step 5. Confirm that killing people is a felony. Step 6. Confirm that no person, except Robert Ray Hedges, is protecting you from this deadly intent. Step 7. Organize your peer group to rectify this conspiracy against life. For those of you who are 13 or older, set up internet websites for children under that age so that they can have a voice in their own destiny and immortality process. If you are under 13, simply find an older teenager to set up your website for you. Step 9. Remain silent in class to communicate that the conspiracy against children is being challenged and is going to be resolved to the advantage of all persons. Refer any adult that challenges your rights to a Google search for the Children's Immortality Project. Document your activity and let the world know. This is fairly clear, but Robert is pointing out that reproduction always leads to death, so children should protest against adults, both in class and online. I don't know if any websites were actually created by children influenced by Robert, but that was definitely his intention. Robert's final strategy for getting his message across was to find the most sexually attractive female and name her Jesus A. Christ. Robert believed that the most sexually attractive women on Earth have the most power on inspiratory educators, and most likely wanted to use Jesus as an opinion leader for his beliefs. It seems back in 2009, Robert was holding harem auditions in the hopes of finding Jesus to be his Messiah. Of course, I've only scratched the surface of Robert's websites, considering how many there are, but there are a few rumors that need to be debunked. This mystery originally blew up on 4chan not only because of how strange the websites were, but because users reportedly received strange emails after visiting the sites for too long. These emails allegedly included pictures of cut-up dogs and child. However, I don't believe this. You have to take everything you read on X with a grain of salt. I didn't see anyone provide evidence for these claims, nor did I experience it myself, and it just feels totally removed from what Robert is trying to accomplish. Along those lines, users claim that these websites were a front for some sort of child pornography ring, and that if you explored deep enough into the site, you would find what you were looking for. Again, I don't think that this is true, because there's no proof and it's just completely unrelated to the mystery at hand. If you find yourself trying to research this topic, you might come across those who claim to have known Robert, or even be related to him. 4 years ago, the Internet Investigator was making a video on this very topic, and inquired about the Children's Immortality Project on r/Internet Mysteries. 2 years later, a man named Christopher Allshouse, who claims to have known Robert better than anyone else, comments on the post multiple times, but receives no replies. Hi, what do you want to know? I knew Robert better than anyone and have continued his resolve of these ideas. Christopher Allshouse, Chris Allshouse on Facebook. After a bit of time searching and creating a Facebook account, I found a man who I can confirm to be the Christopher Allshouse based on his posting history. Sorry if I've got the wrong person, but did you know Robert Ray Hedges? I believe you could help me understand what the Children's Immortality Project really was. Please let me know if you see this. Still nothing. Not sure if I'm being intentionally or unintentionally ignored, but for now, I'll stop trying to reach out.
He is a leader of a child immortality cult in Sedona, Arizona. I'm not 100% sure, but it was connected to this guy named Robert Ray Hedges or whatever. Yeah, Robert Ray Hedges. Unfortunately, Ray has been dead. Ray died. Very sad, but hopefully we can figure out if...
The last thing I want to mention is an interview available on YouTube with a friend of Robert's. The podcast's host, who was interested in Robert's websites back when they started to gain traction, mentioned that Robert died around 2018, hence why most of his websites are no longer accessible.
The reason why I wanted to get in contact with you was about this Robert Ray Hedges guy.
Yeah, well, you know, I've heard some rumors that people thought that he was some sort of AI robot or something like that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you for certain, Robert was a real man, and all of that content, all of those tens of thousands of web pages, he created himself.
And that was just him, just by himself.
Just him.
So he had a lot of time.
He did have a lot of time. He spent like 7 or 8 hours a day for most days for 20 or 25, or no, 15 years, about 15 years. Yeah, so the big thing you got to know about Robert is that he was an immortalist. Right, so he believed that under the proper conditions, that it would be possible for us to solve death. That we could all live forever or a really, really long time. But all of his internet work was designed to put this idea out, to make this idea popular in the culture.
So that's what the whole point was with posting 25,000 bizarro child immortality posts. But we also thought that it might have I hate saying this, but we also thought it might have been like some sort of like trafficking thing, because it was so bizarre.
Oh my God.
I know, how horrible. It's just it was so weird, right?
You had to really want to understand what he was talking about. I'll never forget, I used to hang out with him in the cafes. And every single person who would walk by him, he would make a comment.
To be honest with you, this was never much of a mystery. Robert Ray Hedges spent most of his days creating these websites to spread his ideas of immortality, and while they are strange, they aren't sinister. I think 4chan blew this one out of proportion when it came to the email rumor, but I still enjoyed searching through Robert's old websites. I'm not saying this to be mean or anything, but I'm sure that Robert was, in some sense, mentally unwell, which is why his websites and ideas come off as crazy, even to me. It's too bad that only fragments of his websites are available through archives, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Nevertheless, I think this case is closed unless we ever get more information from those who knew Robert. In 2017, an 18-year-old Jesse Giovanni Nimayapol was reported missing in Denison, Iowa. At the time, this was labeled as an involuntary disappearance, a situation in which someone goes missing against their will. But looking back on it now, this doesn't seem to be the case. What struck people as strange about the reports on Jesse Nimayapol were the increasing amount of nicknames and aliases given to him after his disappearance. With this, internet detectives soon figured out that this man had spread his influence far across the web, and that Jesse was no one close to who we first believed he was. While searching for video topics, I stumbled upon this post in the ever-reliable Unsolved Mysteries subreddit. Strange missing person listing plus internet rabbit hole, Jesse Nimayapol. The post basically reiterates my prior statement. I was browsing the excellent Iowa Cold Cases site, as one does, when this one caught my eye. Jesse Giovanni Nimayapol was last seen on July 14th, 2017 in Denison, Iowa. He was 18 at the time. No other circumstances for his disappearance are given. This post links us to two sources: the Iowa Cold Cases website, a non-profit organization, and NamUs, an official government resource center for missing persons. As OP says, both sites contain an extensive list of aliases for Jesse. Needless to say, this is out of the ordinary, especially for a man whom we know absolutely nothing else about, except his age and what he looks like. Looking into any one of these names brings up interesting results. Daryl Jamal Brown was a man who died a year prior to Jesse's disappearance. In that same year, a man named Reynaldo Colon was arrested for stealing a customer's credit card, and Juan Carlos Simay Nimaya results in some strange and possibly unrelated Facebook pages. However, looking up addicts now Giovanni Nimayapol results in a most interesting YouTube channel, with a picture of a young boy in his underwear as the profile picture. Most of the videos on the Giovanni Nimaya YouTube channel consist of a man doing karaoke, albeit poorly. At a first glance, it's difficult to tell if this is the Jesse Nimaya pole we're looking for, but something else seems a little off with these. The way he dresses, his graphic t-shirt, his skinny jeans, wristwear, flannel, sunglasses, look like a kid. Maybe from 2010, but still a kid. He's even got a hoverboard and a mini basketball hoop in the background, which is pretty hip, if you ask me. Let's have a look at the first video uploaded to this channel. This is not at all like the karaoke videos. It's clear now that the owner of this channel is Jesse Nimaya pole. Hell, this picture looks as if it was taken at the exact same time as his missing photo. So why's he made a slideshow of pictures of himself and random kids with captions like, "Love is priceless. Love is forever." All the other videos are similar slideshows, variations of each other that include photos of Jesse mixed in with photos of random young boys. However, these photos of Jesse are a bit more scandalous, with him being shirtless, or perhaps even naked. In the rare event that Jesse is wearing clothing, it's something very childish, like this. All this aside, I'm still hung up on Jesse Nimaya pole's involuntary disappearance. This channel was created on January 14th, 2017, continued to post until February 5th, and just a few months later, Jesse went missing. Did this channel and obsession play a role in his disappearance?